lovelies, Lauren here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be taking you through a mini yoga flow. So what that is taking our kind of familiar yoga poses and making a mini version of them. This could be a way to perhaps modify in your practice, or maybe it's just a way to actually find a deeper stretch in some of these poses. So for instance, like a warrior two, that requires quite strength in the legs, but bringing it to the mini version, you're actually getting a slightly deeper stretch in the hip space. So we're going to be exploring that a little bit today. Bear in mind that we are going to be quite low to the ground for this, and we're going to be spending quite a bit of time on our knees. So I'd recommend getting like a folded blanket or towel and placing it on the middle section of your mat to act as a little bit more support, a little bit of cushioning, padding for the knees, and also grabbing a couple of blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, feel free to use anything that's similar to a block, anything that's going to help to bring the ground up to you. And we're going to start straight in. We're going to come to a tabletop. So when you're ready, find your tabletop position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Beautiful. So spreading the fingertips down and towards the mat. You can take a few moments to kind of sway from side to side, circling the shoulders round and round, especially if we feel the wrists need a little bit more time to kind of warm up here. If you feel like you've got quite achy wrists normally, take a few moments to warm them up, getting them used to having a little bit of weight placed down into them, so you can kind of turn the fingertips out to the sides in different directions, kind of padding along your mat here, maybe coming onto the back of one hand, changing over. Beautiful. Anything goes here. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Okay. And then let's begin to cycle through our cat and cow. So as we inhale, let's glide the belly down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as we lift it through the chest. Lift the tailbone up to the sky. Gaze ahead. Exhale, tucking the chin towards the chest, pushing the ground away. Send the shoulder blades high to the sky. Beautiful. So straight away, starting our practice with this little bit of movement. And also checking in with the breath here, so marrying that movement to the breath. Seeing how softly we can move through this today maybe. So using your inhale to take you into this arch, this lift of the chest. And the exhale to take you into the curve. And as we inhale again, we lift it through the head and heart, lift the tailbone. So bringing just a little bit of fluidity into the spine. And even though this cat-cow motion might feel quite familiar in our bodies, that doesn't necessarily mean our experience has to be the same each time. So perhaps as you move through this at your own pace, noticing new places of stretch, new sensations maybe. Notice your range of movement here. Perhaps there's slightly less range of movement today, or maybe there's more. Beautiful. So all the time just checking in, asking ourselves these questions. Beautiful. Perhaps taking one more full round, one more inhale to lift up through the head and heart. One more exhale to curve. Okay. Inhale, coming to your neutral spine. And then let's set the right leg back. So kick energy out through that right heel. Keep the hips square. Exhale, draw this right knee towards your nose. Really draw it in towards the chest, round through the back, push the ground away through the hands. And see how softly you can step the right foot in between the hands. If it needs a little bit of help to get there, feel free to take hold of the ankle and give it a little bit of guidance. And then when you're ready, brush the fingertips along the mat. We rise up to a little low lunge. Okay. So we're still quite early on in our practice. Don't feel as though you have to really be sinking down into the hips. Maybe it's just that subtle tuck of the tailbone under to enable you to feel the stretch across the front of the left hip flexor. Fingertips are reaching up to the sky, a little bit of softness through the shoulders. Lovely, well done. So feeling nicely rooted down through this right foot and left knee. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, reach up a little bit higher through the left hand. As you exhale, circle the right hand down just towards your right hip so you can bend into that right elbow here. And then keep reaching up through the left hand as you take a little lean over to the right, adding in this little side body stretch here. So keep tucking the tailbone under, keep driving the hips forwards. So you're still feeling the stretch across the front of the left hip flexor, but you're now taking it up a little bit higher to the left side of the rib cage. Beautiful. Keep extending out through the top fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, rising up, right arm comes up to meet the left. Beautiful, and then we softly send left hand down to the inside of the right foot. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Now from here, because you've got the hand kind of there to support you, you may then wish to let the hips drop further, but keep the heart lifted. Do feel free to use a block underneath this left hand to give you a little bit more space to go, to bring the ground up to you physically, almost making your arms a little bit longer here. Okay. Those right fingertips sweep up to the sky, roll that right shoulder back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Lovely, well done. You're going to reach up through those right fingertips as you softly float the left hand away from the ground. Right arm circles back, left arm circles forwards. Take your time here. Keep the arms going so right arm comes down, left arm to the sky. Now as this happens, you're going to pivot on the left knee, swing the left ankle back behind you, bend into the right knee, and we arrive in a mini warrior two. So you've got the right toes pointing to the short edge of the mat. Your left knee, or kind of your hips, are open towards the long edge of the mat. You've got the right arm reaching forwards, left arm reaching back. And it's up to you again, similar with your low lunge, it's up to you how much you want to drop into the hips here. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. One more breath. Okay, as we inhale, we're softly gonna push down through the right foot, lengthen the right leg, and then gently float the left hand down towards the back of the mat. Push this right side body up to the sky as you sweep this right arm up and over. Beautiful, well done. Okay, take a deep breath in here, and a deep breath out. Inhale, take the right arm up to the sky. Imagine something slightly pulling you from your right fingertips. Left hand floats off as you rise, bend back into that right knee. So come back to your mini warrior two. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, it's either right forearm to the right thigh, left arm sweeps up and over for your mini side angle. You may want to go a little bit further, so you may want to bring the right hand to the ground, to the inside of the right foot, maybe to your block. And still you've got that left arm reaching up and over. So this is where we start to work a little bit deeper into the hips here. So you might feel this really down the kind of right thigh, perhaps the inner right thigh especially, as well as the side body here. Keep extending out through the left fingertips. Beautiful, deep breath in. Deep breath out. And we softly fold this left hand down. It comes down to the ground. Take a moment to kind of pick up the left foot, swing the left ankle directly behind you. You could also tuck the toes under to kind of reset that knee. And then from here, wiggle the right foot to the outside edge of the mat. You can use both blocks here, maybe underneath hands, as you settle into your lizard lunge. So letting the hips glide forwards. Let's keep the heart lifted for this first couple of breaths. Beautiful. So again, dropping into the hips here. Allow gravity to gently kind of welcome you into the stretch. Beautiful. So relying on the structure of our arms, our bones to keep us nice and lifted here, whilst the hips completely relax almost. Beautiful. Let's take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to push down through the hands, lift up out of the hips. Bring the hips to kind of stack over this left knee. You can slide your blocks closer towards you if you wish. As you lengthen the right leg, right toes lift up to the sky, variation of your half split stretch. So hinging at the hips, you've got this lovely long spine. Imagine something lightly pulling you from the crown of your head. So rather than rounding through the back and letting the head hang heavy, we maintain this length all the way from the crown of the head to your tailbone. Bring the blocks up to a higher height if needs be, or maybe you can work a little bit lower. Beautiful. Sending our awareness down the back of the right leg to the hamstrings here. And we take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now keeping the left hand towards the ground or towards your block. Begin to roll the right shoulder back as you peel the right hand away from the ground. Send it up to the sky, adding a little twist in your half split stretch. Now as you do this, see if you can pull the right hip back, left hip forwards. Beautiful. So I might feel a little bit of a deeper stretch here down the hamstrings. That'll be well done. Again, you can adjust your blocks to a higher height if needs be. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, take your time here. Ground down through the left hand and left knee. Inhale, can you lift the right leg? Use the strength of that right leg to take it off. And then sweep it all the way to the back of the mat. Can you keep it lifted? This is your modified half moon. Beautiful. So it's that tricky balance using your core to kind of stabilize you here. This right leg is active. Beautiful. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. By all means, feel free to stay here. Or maybe can we bend into the right knee, right hand reaches, see if we can take hold of the outside edge of that right ankle. If you've got hold of the foot, push the foot or kick the foot into the hand. Drive the hips out to the side, lift up through the chest. So almost like you want to look back behind you here. Beautiful. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Okay. Softly release that right foot. And we circle the right arm all the way down to the ground. Right leg lands to the ground back behind you. You can slide the blocks out from underneath you for a moment. Left hand comes down. And let's step the left foot back next to right. Little plank pose. Deep breath in. Exhale, let's drop both knees down. Keep that activity, keep that awareness in your core as you hug the elbows in and softly come all the way down onto your bellies. Inhale, roll the shoulders away from the ears as you lift the chest. Beautiful. Maybe taking a little baby cobra first of all here. Deep breath in. As we exhale, push down through the hands, tuck the chin. Beautiful. Pull the ribs in. And let's send the hips all the way back towards our heels for a little child's pose here. Okay, lovely, well done. So that is the first side of our mini yoga flow here. Beautiful. So even though this is a mini yoga flow, you're still getting the same stretch, and in some ways it might feel like a deeper stretch, perhaps because we're sinking or allowing ourselves to sink a little bit closer to the ground. We're allowing ourselves to give into gravity that little bit more. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Lovely. Breathing in as you rise all the way up. Lift up through the head and heart. Shoulders stack over the wrists. Nestle the knees underneath hips. Let's move through the other side. So as we breathe in, let's kick the left leg back behind you. Exhale, draw the left knee in towards your nose. Beautiful. Create space by pushing the hands down into the ground, around through the back. And see how softly you can step the left foot forwards in between the hands. And again, give it a little bit of help if need to be. Let's brush the fingertips along the mat. Lift up through the head and heart, low lunge. Driving the hips forward. So again, it's up to you how much you want to sink forwards and down, or maybe you're happy as you are. Grounding down through the left foot and right knee. Beautiful, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Okay. Let's inhale to reach up high through the right fingertips. Exhale, left hand circles down. It's going to land towards your left hip. Keep reaching up through the right hand. Breath in. Exhale, lean over towards the left. Still tucking that tailbone under. So still feeling the stretch across the front of the right hip flexor. But now adding in that side body stretch here. Lovely. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Left hand comes up to meet the right. And then we're softly going to send the right hand down towards the mat to the inside of the left leg. Left arm to the sky. Beautiful. Again, you can use a block underneath that right hand to make your arms seem a little bit longer. Maybe dropping into the hips just a little bit more. You might look up towards your left fingertips here if that's okay for your neck. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. And then from here, remember we've got this kind of big circular movement through the arms. So you're going to start to circle the left arm back. As the right fingertips float away from the ground, we lift the chest. Left arm circles down, right arm circles up. As this happens, you're going to pivot on the right knee to swing the right ankle back behind you across to the left. Right arm reaches to the back of the mat, left arm reaches to the top. Mini warrior two. Beautiful. So again, let's just check. We've got the left toes pointing to the short edge of the mat. The hips are open to the long edge of the mat, to the right hand side. A little bit of softness through the shoulders, energy reaching out through the fingertips. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. Gently push down through the left foot to lengthen the left leg. As you softly tilt the body, right hand comes down to the back of the mat. Sweep the left arm up and over. So you're really pushing this left hip up towards the sky. Okay. Lovely. Keep stretching out through the left fingertips. Keep pushing the ground away through the right hand. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Breathing in, left arm reaches up to the sky. Imagine something's pulling you up by the left fingertips as you float the right hand off. Use your core to pull you up here. Bend into the left knee as you go. You come back to your mini warrior two. Okay. From here, we bend into the left elbow. It's either left forearm to the left thigh for your mini side angle. You sweep the right arm up and over, so you could be here. Or maybe send the left hand down to the inside of the left foot, to the ground or to a block for a slightly deeper stretch here. Making sure wherever you come to, you can still really stretch out through the right fingertips and still roll that right shoulder back. So making sure we've not got the arm kind of up here somewhere. It's reaching up and over. Beautiful. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more. Fill up the lungs entirely. And as you exhale, we softly circle the right hand down towards the ground. Take a moment to swing the right ankle directly back behind you, and then wiggle the left foot to the outside edge of your mat. Okay. Blocks underneath both hands here, keeping the arms long, keeping the heart lifted as gravity takes hold of the hips, and gently sink them down. Lizard lunge. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in here. And a deep breath out. One more deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Okay. We push down through the hands to lift up out of the hips. Begin to lengthen this left leg, so slide your blocks closer towards you if you wish. And maybe we lift those left toes up to the sky, stretching down the back of this left leg, down the hamstrings. And again, we've got this lovely long spine, so imagine there's like a thread being pulled out through the crown of the head to keep that long line all the way from your tailbone. Beautiful. Okay. Making sure we're not locking out in this left knee too much. So if you're feeling any pressure build in the back of the left knee, keep a little bend there. Yeah. So even with a little bend in the left knee, you're still going to be getting that stretch for the hamstrings, and especially if you've got particularly tight hamstrings, if you are a runner or you do lots of walking, you might be really feeling this stretch, and you may want to come up a little bit higher on your blocks. Okay, beautiful. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Lovely. We take our time with this as we ground down through the right hand and the right knee. We are going to roll the left shoulder back as we reach the left arm up to the sky. Beautiful, adding that little twist in our half split stretch. Now see if we can send the left hip back, right hip forwards. Beautiful. One deep breath in here. One deep breath out. Use the strength of that left leg. Can you lift it up into the sky? Sweep it all the way around. Keep it lifted as you go into your modified half moon or your mini half moon. This is still a tricky balance here. So you might find that we're kind of wobbling a little bit. Maybe we need to bring that left foot down. That's okay. Adjust the right knee underneath you if you need a little bit more stability. Beautiful, deep breath. Exhale. Feel free to stay exactly as you are now, or maybe bend into the left knee. Reach the left hand around, see if we can find the outside edge of the ankle. Breathing in, kick the foot into the hand, drive the hips forward. And imagine you want to look back behind you here. Big opening across the chest, across the hip. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. And then we softly let go of the left foot. Left arm circles down all the way towards the ground. Left foot steps back behind you. Slide the blocks out in front and step the right foot back next to left. Little plank pose, deep breath in. Exhale, let's drop the knees down. Keep the awareness of your core as you hug the elbows in, land the hips and chest at the same time. Beautiful, inhale, little cobra here. So a little tiny lift up of the chest, or maybe taking the hands away from the ground, so completely using the strength of your spine to lift the chest here. And then as you exhale, let's rise all the way up, tuck the chin towards the chest, walk the knees in a touch if you need to, and come back into that child's pose. Beautiful, well done. You might kind of stack one hand on top of the other as you come into your child's pose. Let the shoulders relax forwards. Take a few moments to really settle back into the mat. Notice your breath rate. Notice your heart rate here. What's changed for you, either physically in your bodies or perhaps emotionally or spiritually. Perhaps we arrive in this child's pose now with a slightly different perspective. Send your awareness to your hip space, this space we've spent a lot of time with throughout our practice today. So maybe we're feeling a little bit more open in the hips, a little bit more softness there maybe. And just taking a few moments to allow everything to gently calm down. Feel free to stay in your child's pose here, or you might begin to move onto your backs. Simply spending a few moments with your breath. Allowing gravity to again gently pull you in, sinking down to the ground. Again, it's like that warm embrace, almost like coming home here. Stay here for as long as you need. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the back body rise if you're still in your child's pose. As you breathe out again, let everything sink down, finding that gentle release. Let's take 2 more of those. Deep breath in, back body rises. Deep breath out. One more deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Then on your next breath in, take your time. You're slowly going to lift the head and heart. If you had moved onto your backs, again, take the time to wake yourselves up here. Bring a little bit of movement into the fingertips, the toes. You can gently draw the knees in, perhaps roll onto one side. If you were in your child's pose like me, slowly lifting the heart all the way up, rolling up through the spine, and then we're just going to swing the ankles around to one side, and we're all going to find a comfortable seat. So wherever you were for those last few moments, start to make your way into this comfortable seat. It could be kneeling, cross-legged. Beautiful. Sitting up nice and tall. Let the head kind of stack on top of the shoulders. Let those shoulders slide down and away from those ears. Palms of the hands land upon the knees or maybe the thighs, depending where you are. Let's close our mini yoga practice together with the final blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you at night. May the rain wash away your worries. And may the breeze blow new strength throughout your being. And may you walk through the world knowing its beauty all the days of your life. And with that, we bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart. And we bow. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for that mini yoga flow. Maybe that's given you a couple of ideas of how you could mix up your practice, ways to modify, or just ways to utilize the bigger poses, or take the structure or the foundations of the bigger poses and use them in a different way to get a slightly different experience of the pose maybe. And it's just these small changes, bringing the knee down, can bring a whole lot of new experiences to your practice. So again, I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration. And don't forget, I'll be back next Sunday with another free practice for you, and I hope to see you then. Right, bye. Mwah.